Once upon a time, in a peaceful rural town, there was a farm that had been passed down through generations. It was well known for its lush fields, flourishing orchards, and a sense of serenity that seemed to envelop the entire property. The farm was owned by a kind-hearted old man named Benjamin, who had devoted his entire life to its care. One day, Benjamin's granddaughter, Sarah, received news that her beloved grandfather had passed away. The grief of his passing was profound, and Sarah felt a deep emptiness within her. Benjamin had been the cornerstone of her life, teaching her the values of hard work, compassion, and the importance of connection to nature. To honor his memory, Sarah decided to move to the farm and take up the responsibility of caring for it. As Sarah arrived at the farm, she was met with the familiar sights and sounds of her childhood. Memories of running through the fields, picking apples from the trees, and listening to her grandfather's stories came flooding back. Despite the sadness in her heart, Sarah couldn't help but feel a sense of comfort being back in this place that held so many cherished memories. Sarah began to explore the farm, reacquainting herself with the land and the buildings that dotted the property. She walked through the orchards, the scent of ripe fruit filling the air, and marveled at the tall, ancient oak tree that had been her favorite climbing spot as a child. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Sarah stumbled upon an old stable nestled between the barn and the farmhouse. The wooden structure was weathered, but still stood strong and proud, a testament to her grandfather's careful maintenance. Curiosity piqued, Sarah approached the stable, its doors slightly ajar. Inside, she discovered a beautiful, old horse named Solstice. With a gentle and wise demeanor, Solstice had been a loyal companion to Benjamin for many years. As Sarah looked into the horse's deep, soulful eyes, she felt an immediate connection. Little did she know, this meeting would mark the beginning of a transformative journey for both Sarah and the farm. Over the following days, Sarah devoted herself to the care of the farm and its inhabitants, just as her grandfather had done before her. She tended to the fields, nurturing the crops with love and diligence, and ensuring that the orchards continued to bear fruit. Yet, it was her bond with Solstice that truly began to transform her life. As she spent more time with the wise old horse, she found herself learning valuable lessons from him. In the quiet moments they shared, Sarah felt as if Solstice was guiding her, teaching her about patience, love, and loyalty, virtues her grandfather had always cherished. One day, as Sarah groomed Solstice, she noticed the horse's gentle gaze fixed on the rolling hills beyond the farm. She couldn't help but wonder what thoughts occupied the mind of her equine companion. Sarah decided to saddle Solstice and explore the surrounding countryside together. As they rode through the verdant landscape, Sarah found herself marveling at the beauty of the world around her. The wind rustling through the leaves, the birdsong that filled the air, and the vibrant colors of the wildflowers that dotted the fields, all of these sights and sounds seemed to take on a new significance. With Solstice by her side, Sarah began to understand the deep connection between nature and the well-being of both humans and animals. The more time she spent tending to the farm and working with Solstice, the more she felt a sense of purpose, and the stronger her bond with the land became. During her rides with Solstice, Sarah encountered other farms in the area. She saw how some animals were treated with love and respect, while others seemed neglected or forgotten. A growing desire to make a difference took root in her heart. Sarah started to envision a future for her grandfather's farm, one that would honor his legacy and the wisdom of Solstice, while making a positive impact on the lives of animals in need. As the weeks passed, Sarah continued to work tirelessly on the farm, but she also began to research and reach out to local organizations that focused on animal welfare. Her conversations with these groups opened her eyes to the plight of many animals who, once they were no longer deemed useful, were left without proper care and love. Sarah knew she couldn't stand idly by while these animals suffered. Inspired by the lessons she had learned from Solstice and the memory of her grandfather, she came up with a plan. She decided to transform her farm into a sanctuary for retired and abandoned animals, offering them a loving home and a chance to live out their days in peace and comfort. With renewed determination, Sarah began the arduous task of preparing the farm for its new purpose. She started by renovating the barns and stables, making sure they were safe and comfortable for the animals she would soon welcome. In the evenings, she would sit with Solstice, sharing her dreams for the sanctuary and feeling the warmth of his support. Word spread quickly in the community about Sarah's plans for the farm, and soon enough, people began to offer their help. Some donated supplies, while others offered their time and expertise in animal care. It seemed as if the entire community was rallying behind Sarah's vision, and she was deeply grateful for their support. One by one, animals started arriving at the farm. There were elderly horses who had once been race champions, now too old to compete, farm animals who had outlived their usefulness in their previous homes, and even a few dogs and cats that had been abandoned by their owners. With each new arrival, Sarah felt her heart swell with love and compassion. Sarah's days were filled with the challenges and joys of caring for her growing family of animals. She quickly learned each of their individual needs and personalities, and she found that her connection with Solstice only grew stronger. The wise old horse seemed to understand the purpose of their sanctuary, and his calm demeanor had a soothing effect on the newcomers, helping them to settle into their new home. As the sanctuary grew, so did the bond between Sarah and Solstice. The old horse had become not only her trusted confidant but also her most steadfast friend. Together, they welcomed each new animal with open arms, nurturing their physical and emotional healing. Sarah could sense that Solstice had an almost magical ability to comfort and connect with the other animals, his presence providing a sense of stability and reassurance. Sarah continued to invest her time and energy into the sanctuary, ensuring that each animal had the best possible care. She organized events to raise funds and awareness for the sanctuary, inviting the community to visit and learn about the importance of animal welfare. With each successful event, the sanctuary grew more popular, and Sarah felt increasingly fulfilled by her work. One day, a local veterinarian named Dr. Harrison visited the sanctuary. He had heard about Sarah's efforts and wanted to offer his services. As he examined the animals, he marveled at the exceptional care they received and the serene environment Sarah had created. Impressed by her dedication and passion, Dr. Harrison volunteered to provide regular checkups and medical care for the animals, further solidifying the sanctuary's reputation as a haven of love and support. As the years passed, Sarah's sanctuary became a beacon of hope for animals in need. She and Solstice remained at the heart of the sanctuary, their bond stronger than ever. The old horse continued to impart his wisdom to Sarah, and she often found herself reflecting on the many lessons he had taught her about patience, love, and loyalty. One crisp autumn morning, Sarah noticed that Solstice seemed unusually quiet and withdrawn. Concerned, she called Dr. Harrison to examine him. After a thorough examination, the doctor gently informed Sarah that Solstice was growing weak due to his advanced age. While there was no immediate cause for alarm, he advised her to cherish the time she had left with her beloved companion. Sarah's heart ached at the thought of losing Solstice, but she knew that their time together was precious, and she was determined to make the most of it. She spent every possible moment by Solstice's side, grooming him, talking to him, and simply enjoying his company. In the quiet moments they shared, she would often reminisce about her grandfather and the many memories they had made together. As the days grew colder and the leaves began to fall, Sarah could feel Solstice's strength waning. She made sure he was comfortable and well cared for, tending to his every need with gentle diligence. In the evenings, they would watch the sun set over the sanctuary, basking in the warm glow of their friendship and the love they had created within the sanctuary's walls. One particularly chilly evening, Sarah sat with Solstice in his stall, her hand resting on his soft, warm neck. The old horse looked at her with his wise, knowing eyes, and Sarah could feel his gratitude and love emanating from him. She leaned in and whispered her heartfelt thanks for everything he had taught her and for being her steadfast companion through the years. As winter approached, Solstice's condition continued to decline. Sarah knew that their time together was drawing to a close, and she prepared herself for the inevitable heartache. Yet, through her sorrow, she found solace in the knowledge that Solstice's legacy would live on in the sanctuary, his wisdom and kindness imbued in every rescued animal that found shelter there. One snowy morning, Sarah awoke to find Solstice peacefully lying in his stall, his breaths slow and shallow. She could sense that he was nearing the end of his journey. As she sat by his side, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at the incredible impact this wise, old horse had had on her life and the lives of countless animals. Sarah felt a profound sense of gratitude for the lessons Solstice had taught her about patience, love, and loyalty. In many ways, he had been her guiding light, just as her grandfather had been before him. As she stroked his mane and whispered soothing words into his ear, she promised to continue his legacy and honor his memory by ensuring the sanctuary remained a haven for animals in need. As the day wore on, the snowfall outside the stable grew heavier, blanketing the sanctuary in a serene layer of white. Sarah remained by Solstice's side, her heart heavy with sadness, but also filled with love. She knew that his gentle spirit would always be with her, guiding her in her mission to care for the animals that called the sanctuary home. That evening, with Sarah by his side, Solstice took his final breath and quietly passed away. Though her heart ached with the loss of her dear friend, Sarah knew that he was finally at peace, free from pain and reunited with her grandfather in the great beyond. As she said her final goodbyes to the wise old horse, she thanked him once more for the incredible impact he had made on her life. In the days that followed, Sarah grieved for Solstice, but found comfort in the community of animals and people that had grown around the sanctuary. The farm had become a beacon of hope for those in need, and Sarah was determined to carry on Solstice's legacy by providing a safe and loving home for all who sought refuge there. As the seasons changed and new animals arrived at the sanctuary, Sarah began to see the lessons Solstice had taught her reflected in each and every one of them. They reminded her of the power of love and the importance of loyalty, and she knew that, in their own way, they were carrying on the spirit of her beloved horse. In time, the sanctuary became not just a safe haven for animals, but a place where people, too, could find solace and healing. They came to connect with the animals, to learn from their resilience and strength, and to find inspiration in their unwavering spirits. The sanctuary was a testament to the power of love to transform lives and create lasting change. On the anniversary of Solstice's passing, Sarah stood in the middle of the bustling sanctuary, surrounded by the animals and people whose lives she had touched. She closed her eyes and whispered a silent prayer of gratitude, feeling the presence of her grandfather and Solstice with her always. The farm had become a living legacy of their love, a place where the lessons they had taught her would live on forever. With tears in her eyes and a heart full of gratitude, Sarah knew that she had fulfilled her promise to both her grandfather and Solstice. The sanctuary stood as a testament to their memory, a place where love, patience, and loyalty reigned supreme. And as the sun set on another day at the farm, she felt a profound sense of peace, knowing that their spirits would live on through the sanctuary's work for generations to come.